Love it.
Yo.
Testing.
Good morning, Vapor Central. Good morning, Pod TV. Good morning, Cannabis Culture Facebook page. Good morning, everywhere else we are streaming live from. My name is Abby Sampson, and we are at Vapor Central for our very first panel or our very first discussion at the Karma Cup Speaker Series. With me, I have the lovely Tiara Silette with Natural Buds. Silette, am I pronouncing that
You
right?
are Sula.
Awesome, awesome. So Tiara is is the co-founder and co-owner of Natural Buds, which is a vapor lounge in Pickering. Now, our very first panel is on cannabis consumption lounges and vapor lounges. We are in Vapor Central right now, one of the iconic vapor lounges in Toronto. Of course, we all know that vapor lounges need to continue to exist in order for in order for cannabis consumers to have somewhere to use their product. But anyways, yeah. Tiara, how about you tell us about yourself and kind of what inspired you to open up a vapor lounge?
Okay, so honestly, I have been super passionate about cannabis since I was a teenager. And I've always taken a lot of interest in the educational aspect of cannabis. I feel like it's very important to note the many benefits that cannabis has for not only medicinal value, but even on a recreational level too, you know? So for me, the passion was the main inspiration. And I felt that the cannabis industry was definitely something I needed to get into. And realistically, the lounges were more of a gray area, and that was somewhere we thought that we could kind of get in and help try to push it a little bit to see if we can get it over the line and make it a little bit more of a legality. And that's kind of where it started, is where we opened the lounge. We also then became a patient intake clinic, so we help people get licensed through Health Canada. And we are also a cannabis education center, so we help people with grow stuff and all sorts of solventless-based extracts, etc.
Very cool, very cool. So, it's funny. It seems as though the local vapor lounge is like the educational hub for all things cannabis. That's
Yeah,
really cool.
absolutely.
I really like that. So Natural Buds is in Pickering, Durham region, a very conservative part of Ontario. Was it difficult finding a landlord? Like,
Yes, at first it was actually quite difficult. We went through many places looking for someone interested in, allowing a space, but we went through quite a few, and it was not very good. We finally found our amazing landlord that we have right now, actually, and we're close to the lake. He's a little bit more open and understands the need for the transition of illegal cannabis to legal, cannabis now. And he was very open about it, and it was very nice to see that people could be, accepting. So it was a little bit of our savior there.
good stuff, good stuff. So, I mean, even though there are some naysayers and some people who may not necessarily support cannabis or the progression of it, there are a lot of allies, it seems, and there are a lot of
Absolutely.
people who are also, very progressive and very open. So that's very cool. Now, I don't know if many people know this, but Vapor Central has recently become vape only. Now, was it difficult, or how did you go about insuring or finding insurance for your vapor lounge?
So it actually took quite a while, and not every insurance company was open to it, and quite a few, weren't even sure. There weren't any guidelines, so they would be like, okay, I'll call you back, and let me just go talk to somebody, and then they'd call back and be like, there's no guidelines for this. I don't think we can insure you because we just really don't know what to expect. There are a few good companies out there. If you look a little bit harder, you will find the good few companies that are willing to insure cannabis companies. And luckily, after a little while, we did find one, and yeah, it was great.
So because vapor lounges operate in this gray space, have you ever had issues with law enforcement? Have you ever had police come by, anything like that?
No, we tried to do it a little bit differently. We took a more open approach, and we went to the police department, we went to the mayors and the MPs and the councilors, and spoke to everyone before we opened, actually. And we let them know that we are providing a safe consumption site in the Durham region, as there are so many people that consume cannabis. In fact, our plaza used to be called the Stoner Plaza because everyone would go and smoke and go either to the burger place and then go down to the beach. So we tried to make an area that was, away from businesses, away from minors. We are 19. So we tried to provide that safe consumption site, and they understood the need for that and what it is that we really were trying to accomplish by educating people and showing cannabis in a more, successful, positive light. And, we've had a great relationship with them. We have a great relationship with the inspector and the sergeant of the Durham Regional Police Services. And, it's been great.
Cool. So just as a bit of a geographical background, Natural Buds is in a plaza with a convenience store, a
Subway,
shop,
pizza shop,
a
burger place,
burger joint, a breakfast joint,
a pharmacy.
Yeah. So, but with that being said, there are also residential homes around it.
Yeah.
Now, how have your neighbors what do the neighbors think of Natural Buds there?
We've had a lot of positive feedback. We have a wonderful group of mothers in the area who come out and come to get some education. We have a lot of people in the area that have MS or cancer and come through to learn about the various strains that could assist them. So overall, we've had a pretty great feedback, and it's been really nice to see people open and accepting to it and changing a little more. We can start to see the transition happening there.
And I know that you guys participated in Matt and Ali's Bacon Bike
that was
cross country tour, and they were saying how when they went to get burgers at the burger joint, the burger shop recommended them to come to you guys.
Yeah.
And kind of vice versa.
And so we do that vice versa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So there seems to be like a reciprocal relationship with the businesses.
It's a wonderful
in
community.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful community. The people around there are so friendly and so open, and it's really nice to see, the change. It's, we're part of this era of cannabis prohibition coming to an end, and it's nice.
Absolutely. Well, I love that. No, for sure. So you were mentioning earlier the issues you were having with obtaining insurance because there are no formal guidelines. So kind of on that same note, because of the current lack of formal guidelines or infrastructure for cannabis lounges, what steps do you take to ensure that your establishment can continue to stay open?
So we do small things like trying to become part of the community. Like I said, we reached out to the mayor's office, the MPs, the Durham Regional Police Services, and we're really trying to show that we want to be part of the community. Myself and my wife are part of the LGBTQ community, and we try to have open events to make everyone feel welcome. We also do a Ladies Love Mary Jane once every month, and that's a nice safe space for women to come and speak their mind and talk to like-minded individuals. So we really do try in small ways to show how cannabis can be so beneficial in so many different avenues.
And I feel like last year, didn't you guys do like a sock drop? Like I remember dropping off like mittens and tapes and stuff.
We wanted to provide, to some people who are unable to have some of those clothing and, nicer little things. We tried to give back a little bit to the community in Durham, and we had a little bit of a drive going on, and we had a lot of people come out and provide clothing and different items, and it was wonderful. It was a really nice event.
Awesome. And I really like that. So how have the changes to the Smoke-Free Ontario Act affected lounges, and will it affect them in the future?
So with the Smoke-Free Ontario Act, it's one of those things that have been going slightly back and forth. There was going to be the changes, whereas cannabis was going to be, mentioned. Then they went back and said that it was going to go to the original one. So cannabis lounges had a little bit more of a pass again, and we are back into the gray area. So right now it's more of a waiting game, I would say. Honestly, they have been changing their minds so many times. It's hard to really say what they're going to set it on. If this is what they choose to set it on, it does affect cannabis lounges for people who choose not to want to vape or have different methods of consumption which are valid and acceptable to them in that space. I would say that it is going to be a bit of a difficult transition for a lot of people, but I do see the need for vaporizers and a bit of a healthier area as well for other individuals who choose not to want to have secondhand smoke as well.
Cool. So I mean, vapor lounges, I mean, they're far and few between, of course, but, you know, if you look at other countries around the world, you know, places where people can consume cannabis are you know, are common or a little bit more accepted. Is there like, what would your dream kind of scenario look like for the perfect existence for vapor lounges?
The perfect existence would be where we have an area that is 19 plus, so we do not allow minors, but it's a nice open space that is a safe consumption site for everyone included. It has air purifiers and venting systems so that it's not a complete hot box inside, you know. It allows people to use their various methods of consumption, you know. If people want to smoke, they have the ability to smoke out of a joint or a bong or a rig. And if people want to vape, they also have that option as well. So that would be, I think, the most ideal version, if not, you know, even allowing vapor lounges to dispense a small amount, such as, you know, in places in Amsterdam, like little cafes. It'd be nice.
So for those who may still not really be on board with vapor lounges, why are they important? Why do they need to exist?
So many reasons. To start with, we're not going to be allowed to, or for recreational users, they're not going to be allowed to smoke outdoors. This puts you in the position that you're allowed to smoke in your permanent residence. Now, if you have minors, that's basically portraying cannabis to minors, which is the exact opposite of what we're trying to accomplish. That's one. Two, if you have individuals who are not comfortable around the smoke or the smell, you're violating their privacy, you're violating, you know, their comfort, and it makes it a little bit difficult to just either enjoy your recreational cannabis or even your medicine. I mean, for people who are medicinal users, we need a place to consume our medicine. I think it's extremely important to have cannabis lounges, to have that safe consumption site and an area that's away from businesses and other individuals.
Absolutely, and I hear too, especially in shared residences such as dorm rooms, apartments, seniors' homes, where you're sharing your personal living quarters with somebody else, that may be an issue. Interestingly enough, Kareem Assad, who will be on our final panel this afternoon, was doing a talk yesterday on cannabis and landlord-tenants' rights. So that's all being filmed by Dope Chef Media. That'll all be available in the future if you guys want to check it out. So a lot of really interesting things. But at any rate, yeah, no, absolutely. And also too, I mean, sometimes, you know, when you're outside smoking a joint, or, you know, you're hanging out with your friends and you're consuming cannabis, and because it's still heavily stigmatized, you know, especially once cannabis is legalized, you would think that you would be able to have somewhere where you can consume it without having that stigma, without having people kind of give you funny looks.
Absolutely. And like-minded individuals. Exactly. Almost like a bar, you know? You don't want to just be drinking alone outside.
Yeah.
You'd rather go and have a more social setting. And
yeah, and it's funny because, I mean, I local vapor lounge, Natural Buds, often, and the owners there are kind of like my bartenders. I go there, I talk to them about my problems. It's a little bit of a break from home or work. It's a 7-minute walk from my house, and it's a lovely little break. Okay, so how can we, like the cannabis industry, the cannabis consumer, the cannabis enthusiast, or people who just support cannabis lounges, how can we support you guys?
Honestly, come support your local lounges. Come in, come talk to people, talk to your local MPs. Let people hear your voice and let them know that, you know, you want this. There's so many people that are interested in lounges, but unless they hear your voice, we don't know that exists. So talk to people, talk to your counselors, your MPs, the mayor, everyone. Let them know and let them hear your voice. Share it on social media, talk about it. Let there be a little bit more of a voice around lounges and dispensaries and all of that. That will start to kind of push through.
Absolutely. So I want to say Natural Buds is one of the newer vapor lounges to come into the scene. Do you guys do you have any lounge heroes or do you?
Yeah, I absolutely. I mean, I used to come to Vapor Central all the time. Me and my friend before or after school would come and hang out here and smoke a little bit and study or watch some of the comedy shows. And I mean, Abby Roach has been a huge player in the industry for such a long time, and with Hotbox being there for so long, I mean, that is such an iconic space. It's so nice to have that. We would love to have something similar to that in Durham and be hopefully one of those iconic places in the Durham region as well.
Absolutely. So do you have any advice for anyone who's looking to open up their own cannabis lounge?
Absolutely. Open up. We need you guys there. We love you all. Come out. Show your support. These are the only way that we're going to be able to normalize this is if we have them around. And there's not just one of them for an entire space. Have more of them. It's not going to hurt anyone. It's going to help us. The more you have, the more normal it shows, the more people are going to be interested in coming out, and this is how we transition. This is how we change. So if you're looking to open up, open up. Come talk to us. We are happily ready to give you guys advice. We want you guys open.
Well, so that leads me to my last question. You're offering, you're extending yourselves to those who are interested. How do we get a hold of you?
My personal Instagram is at Tiara Silette. You can DM me. I'm available at all times. You can also DM our at Natural Buds on Instagram and follow us there. We're always available. And you can find us and talk to us at any time at the lounge as well. It's both Annie and I there. So at any point, just come on and by. And we're happy to talk to you. We're happy to help and wherever we can.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tiara. I'm going to open up the floor to people who may have any questions, who may want to share their experiences on cannabis consumption lounges. How often do you come? Why are they important to you? Do you have any stories about your favorite bud tenders? Oh, here's Gareth.
Hello. Hi. I work here at this lounge, so I figured I might as well say some things. I feel like you covered pretty much every aspect of lounges and what's important about them and what's key and everything. Personally, I just completely feel like lounges are absolutely 100% necessary for just the sole reason that there's a giant chunk of people that cannot smoke anywhere. Once these new regulations come into place, they will not have anywhere to consume because they perhaps live in a building that does not allow smoking, and that if they go outside, they get a huge fine. They're just not going to be allowed. And so places like this are safe and comfortable for people to come and enjoy and experience things that otherwise are finable or an offense or what have you. We've even had police come into our lounge, and on occasions when we've had to call them for an incident where someone was drinking and it was just an issue, and we've called them and they come in and they're completely fine with this place. They are absolutely 100% supportive. They've never had an issue. They make jokes about this place. They'll be like, oh, we're getting stoned. They think it's funny, and they just like that we're a safe environment that keeps people off the streets. We are not in everyone's face. We're quiet. We don't make too much noise. Yeah. Anyways, I feel like everything was said about lounges that is pretty much relevant to this. Our lounge recently just became vapor only. I think we're one of the few lounges that are doing that. It was an issue with things like insurance and things of that nature, but we're making it work. We've got all new technology for people to rent, buy, test out. We're probably one of the only places you can try vapor pens and vapor handheld vapor products before you actually go to buy those, even things like coil pens. So we personally think we're necessary even more because of that, because we have to like accommodate people and like we let them try products that they otherwise wouldn't be able to experience. They just have to buy it blindly and perhaps waste $300-400 on something that's not for them. Anyways, I've said enough.
Definitely agree.
Thank you, Gareth. No, absolutely. That's so important. And I think with those notes, I mean, it's glaringly obvious why places like this need to exist. Obviously, employment opportunities for wonderful individuals such as yourselves.
Being
As
a good neighbor, I think, was a really important
Yeah.
point that you mentioned, actually, is a lot of people assume that we would be super rowdy or all of this, but as you've mentioned, being a good neighbor is one of the most important factors to show that we are trying to be supportive of this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, thank you so much, Tiara.
Thank you for having us.
We're going to continue our speaker series. Thanks so much, everyone.